Hey guys, just wanted to say an official welcome to Kick Like a Girl podcast. Thank you for all your lovely comments and your support and for following the Instagram. I hope you really enjoy this next episode. Thanks.
Okay.
Alrighty guys, I'm really excited. Episode 1 of Kick Like a Girl, and we have Racheal Quigley here.
Hello.
Welcome, Rach.
Hi.
Just fed her some risotto.
yeah, I'm stuffed. So if I burp, I apologise.
Oh, Jesus.
It's going to happen.
Oh
It
my
happens
gosh.
at training. It happens here.
Oh my gosh. So, how's your day?
Yes, it was a good day. I was at barber school. Did a couple of haircuts.
Yes,
Talked
that's a
a lot of
new
shit.
thing, newish thing.
Yeah, so my whole life I never really knew what I wanted to do. When I was younger, I thought that, you know, once soccer had kind of ended, I'd go as into a police officer sort of role, and that's kind of like drifted away. And then, a good friend of mine, Rob, kind of spoke to me about being a barber, and it's like I'd never thought of it before. But I just kind of jumped into it, and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
sick.
awesome.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
The thing you least expect, and you're loving it.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that. When did we meet? How long have we known each
Well,
other?
we could go onto Facebook and look at all the little fangirl
Oh.
messages that you would
Oh
send.
my God. Do you know what? When I was doing my research for this, I was literally like trying to find the most embarrassing conversation. I actually couldn't find, I think a lot of them were like wall posts back then.
Yeah.
That was like a thing.
Yeah.
Like you just have a conversation on someone's wall.
Yeah, but then I was like, you would write on my wall, and then I would like go right on your wall.
Yeah.
But it was never under the same thing,
Oh,
so it
yeah.
didn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's hard to track,
Yeah. But you were very sweet. You were
yeah,
very...
I used to fangirl.
Yeah.
I still fangirl. Absolutely. Because I'm trying to think. I think
I don't
it
even
was.
know how I met you, though.
Yeah.
You just popped up randomly, and then we were like best friends.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
And I love that. Speaking of like old times, though, I have a series of pictures
Oh, God.
here.
Oh.
Which throughout the podcast I will show you, and you can speak about them.
Oh, God.
This one is from 2011.
Oh, hello.
New Year's Eve party at the Tillies.
Yes. That was so much fun.
Wow, random.
I don't even know how I got invited to that. I feel like I just
Yeah.
rocked up at your house.
You probably did. Who'd you come with?
I brought my friend Chloe, who I don't think
Oh,
you've ever
yeah.
met.
Chloe
Chloe Rodder.
Rodder.
Yeah.
Shout out Chloe Rodder.
Yeah, Chloe, hope you're listening. You got a little shout out. Yeah, that was so much fun. But like, no idea how that happened, why I was at your house.
That was like KB.
Yeah.
Bailey
Bailey was there. Was she?
Oh,
Nah, she was a baby.
Nah. Oh,
Not there.
maybe. Probably. She was probably like 10 or something at the time. So probably not appropriate, but could have been. Amazing. We're going to
Yes.
try and
Yeah.
put the photo up so
That's
you can all
cute.
see.
I'll put that there. to look at.
Yeah, so as I said before, did some research, which is
Yes.
pretty cool. Made it easy because you have a Wikipedia page. Since when? That is the coolest thing ever. Oh my gosh.
It's my favorite pickup line. Like, hey, check out my Wikipedia page.
Got the link.
Which I'm not picking up anyone because I'm in a very happy relationship. So
Yes.
I don't use that.
Oh, God, just to clear that up. Kelsey's heart just stopped
Sank.
beating. So, yeah, let's go back to the start. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, but I'm going to give it a red hot crack.
Mhm.
Ingle Farm Soccer Club.
That was where it began.
That's where it began.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So grew up like north, lived in a house at Ingle Farm, so it made sense to kind of play at Ingle Farm, but also my uncle was a coach there. He never really coached me, but I would join his like boys team and train extra nights throughout the week. But yeah, I started there. I was like 4 or 5, started playing in the under 6s, did under 6s for a couple years, and then made my way up to like under 11. Yeah, so I was there for a solid like 7 years.
Yeah, right.
Loved it. My nan was in the canteen, like very like big on the
nice.
family stuff there.
Yeah.
My brother tried to play. It's just a little bit unco, but you know what? He's a good sport. He tried.
Yeah. Oh, gotta give him that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So no, it was a very good club to be with, and I loved playing with the boys. I think I think every girl should like start.
Yeah,
playing with boys.
sad because I never did that.
Yeah,
Because I was
that's
busy
so
playing
interesting.
tennis and netball
Oh, you
till
were
like
such a girl.
11. That's such a girl. I know, so like white girl, aren't I? Oh god.
Spoke about how I actually played with Dylan McGowan a long time ago. So we both started
Fire.
at Ingle Farm.
Yeah.
And I said it in the last podcast that I remember one game I scored 9 goals, Dylan scored 10 goals. Our coach took us off at halftime, and then at the end of the game it was 19-0. Like we
Oh my god.
killed it. So we both had a very good career from that, which is like blows my mind. It's so crazy to still see him like playing at such a high level as well.
Yeah.
And
So you guys are the same age?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think either exactly the same or maybe he's a year older.
Play on, Ref.
Yeah. But no, there was no girls team at Ingle Farm. So
Yes,
it was
that was not really
nah,
a thing.
Didn't. No. And as I got older, they thought about bringing it in, but there just wasn't, what they thought, there just wasn't enough interest.
Yeah.
Which was fine because I didn't want to, like, if my parents asked me if I wanted to play in a girls team, I said no. Like, to
loved
me,
it.
I was a little boy.
Yeah.
Except, like, when I took my clothes off, I had boobs
Yeah.
underneath. So
Yeah. That's the only
so
difference.
at the age of, like, 11, 12, that's when it started getting weird.
Yeah.
Well, not weird, but, I had boobs.
Yeah.
So it kind of changed the dynamic. I ended up under 12s going to Parry Hills East for a season. Just one season. And I had another girl in the team there. But then it was after that we were actually told that I wasn't allowed to play boys anymore, which blows my mind. I'm not sure why. Actually, I do know why. If I wanted to play in the state team, I had to be playing in the girls' league. Which, like, I don't know why that's a rule. I find that quite strange.
That's odd, yeah.
Yeah. And so that was when, at the age of 13, I jumped over to Parry Hills Knights.
Yeah. Which is the next. I didn't have Parry Hills East.
Yeah.
Dark Horse.
Oh.
That was actually my first club as well.
East.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So I was I feel like 12 or something. I think I was year 6 at school.
Yeah. And I would have already been like 18.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of seasons there and then moved on. But yes, Parry Hills Knights, you were there for
for 3 years.
3 years,
Yeah. So I was 13 and I jumped straight into under 17s.
Yeah.
Played with a lot of my teammates that I had done state with as well. So it was, we had a great little team. And then, when we went away with state, we would play really well together as well. So around, and that's all around our age gap. So we were all roughly the same age. So that first year played under 17s. My dad was coach. Everyone's at some time in their life, I feel like I had their dad coach them. So I had dad coach me then. And then, was it the same? I think that same year, Parry Hills Knights didn't have prems. They had state league. So I got to the point, I think like midway through the season, I had to actually ask, it was Saucer back then, if I could play in the state league because it was, open age and 13 was too young. So they had to ask, I think it was Wendy Carter, I had to ask Wendy if I could play. They agreed to it. So for that year, I was playing 2 games a week, which, like, man, if I thought of doing that now, my body would kill me.
Yeah, rough.
But yeah, so then I ended up being leading goal scorer in the state league that year. And I think under 17s, I think we won the cup or something like that. But then because we won the state league, we then got promoted to Prems. And then so it was 2 years after that, I played in the Premier League for Knights.
Yeah.
And that was rough because we did not do well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which
Okay.
is,
So who
most
was
teams do.
like the top dogs then?
Fulham had won, I reckon they had 3 or 4 years in a row. So what Adelaide City have like sort of recently been is what Fulham was back then. So, and that was the next team I went to. So
yes,
I had done 2 years in Premier League at Knights, losing, losing quite a lot. But we were still competitive. It just, coming up from there, it's harder because the gap is so huge.
Yeah.
And then, speaking to, the coach at Fulham, who was Dave Leeson back then, I had played with his daughter Nadia in the state league. And Dave was he was an amazing coach. I had him through like development squads, and just spoke to him. And so, you know, there's this like fantastic club that's won how many years in a row. I'm this like 14, 15-year-old girl. It was obviously I don't like changing clubs so often, but for me that was like a huge pinnacle for me with my growth and the player that I am. So going into a team at Para Hills, I was like this big fish in this little pond, whereas like going to Fulham, I was then the small fish in the bigger pond.
Yep.
So it was a massive growing stage for me, and then ended up we won that next year at Fulham. So that was amazing for me as well. That was my first taste of like success in the higher level, and then I was at Fulham again for 3 years.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so then from there, Sturt, Marion? No.
Why does everyone think I played for Sturt?
Did you not play for Sturt?
I never played for Sturt.
Who am I thinking of? Ness Reid, Maddie Daru. I
yeah,
swear
Maddie
you were
did.
in there.
Nah,
Nope.
no,
You would know.
I went to Adelaide Olympic.
Yes, which is next on the
Oh.
list. Okay,
Why
so
does Sturt come up?
backspace,
That's so
backspace.
strange.
I don't know.
Did you even look at my Wikipedia page?
Well,
You
I
can't
don't
trust
think.
her.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would have had that on there. I don't even know. Yeah. So Adelaide Olympic.
Yep. So I was
For
there
how long?
I want to say a year and a half, but I actually think it might have just been half a year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it could have just been half a year. And it was, Dave had actually moved on to Adelaide Olympic. And
Yeah.
so I kind of followed him there. And we had a really good team. But actually there was one game, it's so funny. You remember when planking was a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Oh, geez.
I was all about it. I don't know why. I loved it.
That was your celebration, right?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
So we
gosh.
scored. I remember Catherine Ebbs being in the team because she'd passed to me, and we had told the whole team, like, if we score, we go down. I think we were playing City or something. And I score, and then everyone in whatever position they are just dropped and planked on the floor.
Oh,
And
my gosh.
it was just one of like, it's the first and only ever time that there's been like a real goal celebration within the whole team.
Yeah.
And it was fun, like for us. Obviously not.
Everyone
for
else was like, what
the
is
other team.
going on?
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I've struggled like mentally a lot over the years. And so when I was at Olympic, I used to read the forum all the time.
Oh, no.
It was bad.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know there is a lot of nasty things that get said on there, and it's not very positive, and there is a stigma around, you know, Adelaide soccer, and yeah, it's like people are not happy for other people succeeding. And there was one game where we played South Adelaide Pink Panthers, and we beat them. I think it was like 20-0, something, or 18-0, something like that. And I had scored 10 goals, and it was the most goals scored in an NPL game. And I got a lot of backlash for it, and that affected me a lot. Like I was, a mental wreck. And it was coming from everyone. It was coming from people that I thought were friends. It was from teammates. Which was hard, because when you're playing NPL, you know, you want to be playing the best that you can constantly. So as a striker, if I'm going to keep playing my best, I'm going to keep scoring goals.
Oh, 100%.
But that was, that was a real hiccup in my career, and I was on the verge of just quitting soccer altogether.
Yeah, right. So how old are you around this? Do you know, after
right
Fulham?
So I want to say like maybe...
What, 18, 20?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
maybe like 17, 18. Or nah, it was outside of school because I was working at JS Sports.
Yeah.
So it was probably in between that time when it was like, like 18 to 20, maybe 19 because, maybe 20. Sorry, this is taking me a long time.
No,
to
you're
figure it out.
fine. It's hard to
Because
remember.
I had, before I had been dropped from the Young Matildas as well, which
Right.
then completely wrecked me mentally as well. And that's something that I can talk about too. But so I had gone to work one day, and Chrissa was working at JS Sports, and I had told her how I was feeling and that I was pretty much like gonna just quit then and there. And she was at uni in the state league with Tracy.
Right.
And like literally that night I had a call from Tracy, and Tracy had coached me in the state, in the state teams, and she has been one of my favorite coaches that I've ever had in my entire life. That's why I constantly go wherever she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she called me and just said, like, don't quit. These like young girls at uni would love and thrive if you like, drop down and come. And dropping down from NPL into a state league is not easy. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was, for me, it was like either stop playing soccer or, you know, maybe I can make a difference in this team and this club. So it was mid-season and I dropped down to uni, and Zoe Haramalopoulos.
Haralamopoulos. Zoe.
Haralamopoulos.
Yeah.
Zoe, God. That's a $5 croc fine
Yeah,
on my behalf.
absolutely.
Laura Johns.
Yes.
Man, who else was in there? Hannah Jenkins. Like, there was like all these players that we're playing with now were in this team, and they were babies.
Yeah.
And it was myself and Lucy Adamopoulos that had gone from Olympic to go play at uni. So uni was sitting about mid-table, and like these girls, they just had so much drive and they were like excited to be there, and it was a very different atmosphere to what I had at Olympic. And it kind of breathed like fresh air into me. Yeah. In a way, just like that burp. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine.
And then, yeah, and so I dropped down and I started playing like good football, and I started enjoying it again. And we ended up actually winning the league, which then got promoted to Prems again. Yeah. And I made a bit of history that year because I was leading goal scorer for both Premier League and the State League, and I won the State League Player of the Year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which was
That's
amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
And
What they have to say about that? The haters? I bet they hated that one.
Yeah.
Damn, that's probably what made you do it.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was another like huge change in my life. Yeah. So obviously don't enjoy changing clubs, but I feel like every time I have,
do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's made me the player I am today. So
awesome. Let's talk about Adelaide United.
Yes.
So 08.
That was the very first season.
08 to 2013.
Yep.
5 goals in 10 games. 09 2010 MVP award, I believe. Yes. And also in 2011 and 2012 season, you scored the overhead scissor kick goal of the year.
The biggest fluke of my life.
Was this that picture? Is that even the same human?
Yes. Awful haircut.
Yes.
Any barber would turn me out the door.
Yeah.
I actually lost that trophy at the awards night, which I can talk to you about if you like.
Yes, I know that story. Tell that story.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, incredible. Scored the best goal of my life. I did a scissor kick. I don't know how. Just it went in.
Went for it.
And it was amazing. Got to go to the awards night. And it's funny that these awards nights, my mum actually won tickets to go and meet Rihanna. And I chose to go to these awards nights over Rihanna. Even Sam Kerr was messaging me like, what the fuck, go and see Rihanna.
Oh
Why
my
would
God.
you bother going to these awards?
That's massive.
Yeah, and it's
where? Did your mum fly to
Sydney? So flew to Sydney.
So you met your mum when?
Mum went and took Dad, and I was like, Dad keeps calling her Rhiannon. So I just, this is a slap in the face for Rihanna. Oh my God.
Do you regret this?
No.
Okay.
Oh, kinda. I regret this night.
Man, Rihanna's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's like,
it was when
she's
she was
up
in the
there.
movie Battlefield. So they went to the premiere of Battlefield.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, but so this night, I took one of my best guy friends, Simon, but he was like a bit of a drinking buddy for me. So, because I had a feeling I was going to win because it's a scissor kick and it's a killer.
Oh, so you knew you were nominated?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that how they
That's how they kind of get you over there. Yeah. They sort of say you're up for an award, like up for a nomination for an award.
Yeah.
Come.
And where was it? Sydney?
Sydney, at the Star.
Yeah.
And so I was getting pretty nervous, and so I started to drink a fair bit, and with my friend.
As you do.
A fair bit.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I ended up winning. I went on stage and had to do like an interview with Steph Brantz in front of everyone. And some of the questions she asked me, like, well, the first one's just like, you know, how did you do it? Like, have you done this before? And I told the entire crowd that it was a fluke. Like, it was the biggest fluke that I've ever done. She sort of asked if I'd ever done it before. And I said I used to practice, like, in my best friend's trampoline. Like, just, yeah, there was a few questions, and she sort of asked, like, you know, how things are with Adelaide United at that stage, and how things are with, like, Dave Edmondson. And I was like, oh, yeah, I love him. Like, he's been so good. Like, you know, we'll get better eventually. Like, Quigs.
Oh.
Fuck. Use your words.
Yeah.
Like, it was a bit of a mess. It ended up being, like, I don't know. It got people's attentions. So it was a bit of a, I don't know, publicity, but maybe not the right publicity.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I kept drinking and celebrating because I had a bunch of randoms come up to me after that saying how funny I was. Archie Thompson told me to never say that it was a fluke ever again.
Yeah.
Yes, Archie.
Fine.
Yep.
Whatever you say.
And then we ended up going to the casino. I remember being with Donna Cocaine, and we were just like, we were trying to get into the casino, but they weren't going to let me in with the trophy because it's quite pointy. If you see the photo,
It's a weapon.
You can see it's a bit of a weapon. And so I think one of the United boys, I think it was Dario Vidicic, had put it in his jacket, and we got in. So I'm holding it around everywhere we go. I'm at the bar, getting drinks still. And then half an hour later, I'm like, oh my God, where's my trophy?
Oh no.
And I freak out, and I'm just like, fuck. And then I start crying because, you know, I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I start crying. I go to Donna. I'm like, oh my God, I've lost it. I don't know where it is. The rest of the night's kind of blurry because I was just so upset about losing this trophy that means the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there is like huge regrets of drinking in this night. And drinking was something that I've really struggled with, especially like when I was a bit younger. And yeah, and then the next day, woke up very hungover. Almost missed our flights because me and Simon didn't set alarms. It was a bad time. About 3 weeks later, I had Steph Brantz call me, and she was like, Quigs, we've got your trophy.
Oh my God.
Someone from ABC had found it at the bar.
Okay.
So because it was see-through and I had drunk goggles on, I just did not see it.
Oh.
So no one had taken it. I just lost it.
It was just there.
Unfortunately, I think that story got out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if something like that is what tainted like my reputation and potentially why I never got a call up for Matildas. I don't know if that's the case. If it is, then that sucks a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, there's definitely a few things I would have done differently with that night.
Yes. Okay. Moving on.
Yes. Please.
So let's talk about that. This year, I think it was 2012. Abby Erseg. Who else is over there? Georgia
Cassie,
Macri.
MJ, Jess
Waterhouse, who's killing it in footy. Just a shout out to Jess if you're watching.
Mullet,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's a vibe. Who else? Emma Checker. I was a train on that year, I believe. That's probably when I was fangirling you. Dave Edmondson at Burton. Yeah. I reckon I did a couple of years train on. Like Izzy Hodgson, Anne Mayo, like all them sort of girls.
I don't know that Izzy was in this team though. Maybe train on as well.
Train on too. Yeah. And Iz and I kind of were competing with each other a lot. And Holly Patterson was she came in from New Zealand and took that spot. But yeah. So from United, 2013, you moved to Kansas City Shock. Just quickly, that story about your mum emailing someone, is that like legit?
100%. It wasn't even an email. It was literally Twitter. Hey, would you take an international player? And he was like, yes. And then back and forth, within 2 weeks, I was in Kansas.
What?
But it was like terrifying. So
how old are you? So this is 2013.
2013. I was 21, 22.
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's not super young these days, but it's not.
But for me,
old.
that was terrifying.
Yeah.
And to go over by myself and not really know what to expect. Wasn't paid for it at all. But all flights were paid for. So, I went first. It was a flight to Sydney. Got to Sydney. Then I was there for 6 hours because they kept delaying the flight, and then they cancelled the flight. So I was like, fuck. Like, trying to get in contact with someone from America at that time was just, like, not happening. And I was freaking out because I'm by myself, and this was my first time really traveling on my own without anyone's help. Like, I didn't have an agent. So then I had to stay in Sydney overnight. Was able to jump on a flight the next day. As I was arriving in Kansas, there was like fucking cyclones going on. There was like this huge thunderstorm, and you know, here you like see like one or two little light bulbs. I'm looking around this plane. There's like 8, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is it. But I got like there.
Flying isn't terrifying enough.
Yeah.
Whack in a storm.
Yeah. And I got there, and it was the WSL league. So you sort of play in your kind of sort of zone. So I played it in states that were close to Kansas.
Yeah. And that's first time Kansas were oh, can I speak?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? That's the first time they were in the like that league,
WSL,
that game.
That was, so this guy had created this team because it's something that he always wanted to do.
Yeah, cool.
Loved my coach. My coach was incredible. My teammates were amazing. Like, I genuinely had the greatest time, and just getting that taste of traveling and playing soccer and doing it sort of kind of full time was amazing. It was just unfortunate that, you know, we didn't make finals. So then I was only there for like 3 months. And like it flew by. And I still speak to so many friends over there. So like, I don't know, maybe I'll still go back and do one more season before I retire. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's
yet.
cool.
But yeah, I honestly loved Kansas, and yeah, that was just showing me that there is a pathway. Although there was no money involved, it's still a lifestyle that's like worth living for sure.
Awesome. Then another season, come back to Adelaide United before heading off to Melbourne.
Yeah, so I played
Burundara Eagles. Come on, guys, that name.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, so I came back, played for Ross Aloisi. That's when we had Bubs in our team as well, which was
Was that like
amazing.
Christina Papageorgiou? Or was that Pappy? No?
Yeah.
She was captain.
Yeah, was that season?
Neats? No?
I honestly can't even remember. They all kind of merge into one.
Yeah. Did you play with them at all?
Yes. Yeah, definitely did play with them at some point.
Probably
I don't
around
know if
there.
it was that season.
Okay.
I feel like it might have been
before that.
Yeah, just before I moved away.
Yeah, Pappy is pretty old, so shout out Pappy, hope you're listening.
Still one of the greatest players around.
Oh, I miss her.
Yeah,
so
she was like by far one of the players that I idolized growing up.
100%.
Sassy throughout all of that.
Yeah.
Just one smart footballer, which I think.
And can lay a hard ass tackle.
Oh man, her slide tackles would always come off.
Oh.
Have you seen mine this season? I'm getting yellow cards left, right, center. It's so bad.
We literally put Kung Fu Fighting over your clip and put it in the chat, and people were loving it.
Referees make me angry.
Come on, refs. Hurry up. Get better.
But yeah, so we had a Scottish girl in that team, and so she was planning on going back and playing for Spartans in Scotland, and I was super keen. Like, I'd already had my taste going overseas. Like, I wanted more. So I was talking to her, telling her to sort of speak to her club, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. And then Alex Gummer was in that team as well, and she's from Melbourne. She had spoken to a club that had just been promoted into Premier League in Victoria, which is Burundara. And so both Louise Mason and myself were offered as well. So there would have been the 3 of us coming from W League team. And so for Louise, it was like she wanted to keep playing W League, and she thought being in Australia would be her best opportunity for that. And so we agreed just to play in Melbourne. I was pretty upset. I would have loved to have played in Scotland. I think it would have been incredible. But yeah, so decided to move across. What I don't think Louise realised was that the NPL level was very different to W League. And so when she came over, she lasted 2 weeks and was like, nah, this isn't for me, and jumped over to Scotland. Right. For me, I had signed this contract. I wasn't going to bail. So I decided to stay in Melbourne. Got to play with Gummer, which I loved the girl. And we actually did really well for a club that had just moved up. we had a really hardworking team. It was like being at uni again.
Yeah.
But this time in Melbourne. And I fell in love with Melbourne. Like, I loved it. The league, I find, is a slightly higher standard to the Adelaide League. And I think there's a larger pool of players. And so there's more teams that can fill good players. Yeah, so it does make it that little bit harder. Yeah, so I ended up playing for Burundara that season. I think we actually did quite well. And I had been in conversations with Ross because, I was still playing for Adelaide that year before. But being in Victoria, I already had somewhere to live and I already had a full-time job. I was working at Sportsmart. So I was pretty keen to kind of see how I would go trialling for Victory. And Victory had just won that year before. So they won the W League the year before. So I ended up going to trials, met Joe Montemuro, who ends up being like one of the greatest coaches that I've ever had. He's just, I don't know, won a heap of seasons with Arsenal. Like, now he's with Juventus. So he's really like made himself. That's awesome. Yeah, and stuck with the women, which is, I really love that. And so, I trialed and I made the team. And so for me, that was huge. I was playing with Lisa Devanna. I was playing with Steph Catley. We had Brie Davey in goals. Wow. Emma Checker was part of that team. Yeah. A bunch of other like really good footballers, and just another step for me. That there was only so much that I was doing with Adelaide. Yeah. And we struggled for a very long time, and it takes its toll on you as a player. Yeah. Because then you doubt yourself. Like, am I doing anything for this club? Am I doing anything for myself? And so to move over to Victory, yes, it's a rivalry, but it was one of the best decisions that I had ever made. I learnt so much from Steph Catley as a person, as a player. I ended up writing her this like 2-page letter of just how grateful I was, because I think she's like by far my favorite person in the whole world. I think she's like so humble for who she is. She's the most hardworking player that will be on that field. And I think as a captain, that's what you need. Like, you want to be working hard for your captains. So that, I think that season I was leading goal scorer, just not for the league, but at Victory. And I think I was on the same goals as like Jodie Taylor, who's one of the national team players for England. Yeah. So crazy. That was huge. Yeah. And I loved it. I loved being in Melbourne. Yeah. I was a free spirit and single and just living it up. Vibing. So talk to me. So this is what, your third W League season. So you're kind of becoming, like, after going to Adelaide and then coming to Victory. So you've been at 2 clubs now. So you're becoming like pretty established. So you're getting 0 pay. Yes. Is that right? So, or any sort of. So Adelaide United for the first. The first 6 years of Adelaide United, I got paid nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. Yeah. No petrol money. Literally. And how many nights a week are we talking? Is it still similar to what it is now? Yeah, 100%. 4 or 5, sometimes 6 nights a week of training. Yeah. That's out of control. Yeah. It was like, it was so hard. And so, to get paid nothing was brutal. And then I went over to Victory and I got paid $1,200. So for me, I was like, oh, killer. They're actually paying me. A week or? No. Oh. That was for the season. $1,200 for the season. And this I was just kidding, guys. This is, it's an A-League club. Yeah. So what's the season like? 10 weeks? It was 12 games plus finals. So 100 each. $100 a week, roughly. And then you don't include like preseason with that. Preseason starts like what? It's not great, is it? September, October. Yeah. So over 7 years of W League, playing in the highest level in Australia, I had earned $1,200. In this same season where I was playing very well with some very good players, I ended up being homeless for about 2 weeks, and the club did not help. So I had a falling out with the family that I was living with, and it got to the point where, they kind of gave me 24 hours to kind of move all my things and move out. And so I was living out of my car with all of my belongings in Melbourne for, 2 weeks. The first week was just all in this car. And this is a little Mitsubishi Lancer 2-door. And
Yikes.
I was like leaving my car outside of training because we were training Darebin. And then that next week, because Alex Gummer had played for Victory that year after with me as well, I'd kind of told her, because it's embarrassing. It shouldn't be embarrassing, but it was embarrassing. And so she lent her couch. Even though she had housemates, she let me sleep on her couch for a week. And then someone from where I was working needed to find a place as well. So we ended up finding a place in Frankston. So if anyone knows Victoria, Frankston is Mornington Peninsula.
Yeah.
We were training in Darebin.
Oh, dear.
That's like over an hour and a half drive. And I would take tolls. And in a month, I would pay $500 in tolls. And still trying to work full-time, getting paid fuck all to play soccer, to be there 5-6 nights a week, and then have to travel on the weekend and still perform at a high level. That was a very tough year, and I still did well.
Yeah.
With what I had around me, we even got to go to Japan that year for the Champions League, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, wild
as well. Yeah,
awesome. Okay, so from there, I just realised we've been talking for 40 minutes already.
Oh, Jesus,
and
we got so much. There's going to be part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, my notes, like we're like maybe a third of the way. What do I have? Bulleen Lions.
Yes.
So you runners up in a 5-3 2015 knockout cup versus Eagles, who was your ex-club. Wow, how was that?
So, oh, look at that. That's a cute.
Good haircut there.
Thank you.
Better.
Yeah.
Melbourne's
got it.
Okay.
Well, Adelaide's got it now, though.
Adelaide has it
Atta
now.
boys,
Yep,
got
atta
it.
boy.
So I had made the move from Burundara to Bulleen. What was I doing? I was sort of like an assistant coach manager to the state team over in Melbourne, which I loved. And it's funny because a lot of those girls now are playing in the W League, and it's incredible. And I got to play with a couple of them in my last season at Bulleen, which was an amazing feeling. But I'd actually gone out to a Bulleen session because there was a few W League players there. So like I don't think Steph was there, but like Ash Brown, Caitlin Friend, I can't remember who else, but there was a few girls that had a heap of gear that they were happy to pass on to me so that I could give them to these girls. I ended up getting stuff from Steph Gatley as well. So the girls that got to keep the stuff is like amazing. I went to this session and I watched their session, and I did compare it to what our training was like at Burundara, and I hadn't been happy with the sessions at Burundara. It wasn't the level that I wanted to be playing at. Whereas like you look at Bulleen and you've got those W League players and you've got the intensity, and the facilities at Bulleen are incredible. The stadium there is amazing. The artificial has always been good. They've always looked after it. They've got a gym there. Like it could be a professional club. And so I saw this one session, and I spoke with the coach there as well, and he was great. Bobby McGuinness, if he listens to this, he has been one of my favourite coaches also. Well, in Melbourne, he was my favourite. So, so it was early in the season that I had moved over to Bulleen. But it was unfortunate that in the middle of the year, we had a cup round. We played against a lower div team. We were winning like maybe 15-0. And I was still running in like the 85th minute, trying to score more goals, just trying to like work my ass off to be fit, to get fit. Yeah. And ended up getting in like this shitty tackle with a couple other players where I've been tripped and I've fallen on my head where the ground has separated my neck and my shoulder. And I had a grade 3 tear in my AC ligament. So I could not move. My clavicle was like raised by like 2 inches or something. It was ridiculous. The worst pain I've ever had in my life.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I had to get surgery. Yeah. Get a hook plate put in. Had me doing nothing for a solid 2 months, and then so I didn't actually get to play in the final. And I missed out on a big majority of that season. And then going into it, Melbourne City had then brought in their very first women's team, and Joe had moved over to Melbourne City. And yes,
did you guest appearance for them?
I did. So I was hoping to sign for Melbourne City, and I think the plan was to, but with the shoulder injury, it really set me back.
Yeah.
And when you look at that team, man, it was ridiculous. You had Jess Fishlock, Kim Little, who in my opinion is one of the greatest players in the world, Jem Beattie, Bree Davey was in goals, Steph Catley, Lisa Devanna, Mariana Tabane. Man, we had this incredible
Squad.
team.
Yeah.
And then, so I trained with them the whole time, continued to be a train-on, and there was still one contract that was up for grabs. And there were 4 of us sort of fighting for that contract. And so it took me a lot to come back from my shoulder injury, and like fitness was still not there. But I did get to play guest appearance. I think we had like international duty, so we had a lot of players missing. So I got to step in, and we got to play in the very first derby, the Melbourne derby. So we got to play against Victory.
You won 2-1.
It was 2-1, yes.
My notes, they're good so far, huh?
They're
You
on
impressed?
point. Except Sturt Marion.
Yeah, sorry. Sturt Marion, come on, what's wrong with Sturt? I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Yeah, I know.
People
Somebody
listening,
else said it.
yeah.
So
I think you
weird.
actually did. I think you're fibbing.
Yeah, maybe.
Did I?
But yeah, so I got to play in that game, and then I trained with them right throughout the year, and like even just that training was incredible. The facilities at Melbourne City are insane.
Yes.
The best I've seen.
Crazy.
And so it was unfortunate at the end of the season I wasn't getting paid for it again. Melbourne City actually trained throughout the day as well, so I could not work a full-time job. I ran out of money towards the end, so right before the new year I ended up moving back home to Adelaide, and I flew back for the final for City, and it was really sweet because the girls won it. And then in the change rooms after, us train-on players and the ones that got to play in the guest appearance, we all received a medal as well, because they just, they said we were a huge part of, what they were building there as well. So
right, nice.
that was, it was incredible. But yeah, it just sucked that I couldn't get like a full season in again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, talk to me about. There's another one.
That was City. I jumped the gun on you.
Yeah, no,
that
that's
was
fine.
the Derby game. I won at 24.
Oh, amazing. South Korea.
Yeah. So
Agent saw your footage on YouTube.
Yeah. Well,
or
saw footage. I don't know if it was YouTube, but saw footage of me and knew I was a striker in the W League. Had made a name of myself, like you said, from playing for so long. And I had just been home for like not even a month. So I got this phone call. It was on WhatsApp. He got my number from a friend, Gemma Simon, who played for Newcastle. And he was talking, it was a little bit broken English, but I could sort of understand. And he was talking about this Korean league and how this team's looking for a striker. I think like minimum wage was like $30,000 USD or something. Like, would I be interested? And I said, can I like call you back? And hung up the phone, and I said to Mum, I was like, this is surely a scam. Like, this can't be real. Like, no club
no one
pays
just
that
rings
much.
you up. Yeah, and 30K.
Yeah.
What?
And we did our research, looked online, and there was a team called KSBO Hwacheon, and it was all very legit. So then it got very real. It's terrifying. I knew nothing about Korea. It wasn't even in my mind that it was a country. Like, I know.
What is a Korea?
I had to Google, where is Korea?
But you knew your career was about to take off. The disappointment.
That was bad.
That was good.
Nah, all right, that was
Someone will
fantastic.
rate that this thing. Thanks,
100%.
guys.
It'll be Ali Lattice.
Yeah.
So I did it. I jumped on a plane and flew to South Korea on my own again. I met the agent there, who rolls up in a fucking Range Rover. He he was an attractive Korean guy too.
Oh.
So, you know.
You're like, oh, hang on.
You got to trust attractive people, right? Just kidding. Don't trust
It was
anyone.
a scam.
But yeah, and so I got there and I go into this building and like it's like very like businessy, and my coach is sitting down at this table that they've invited me to. Not one word of English is spoken. So I'm like, fuck, what are they saying? And then I have to have like the agent sort of interpret like, hello, like sort of meeting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. God damn, Quigs.
And then I find out that the whole team's waiting on a bus for us. Like this team is just sitting in the bus waiting for us to have this little meeting. And then I've got to take all my things. So everything that I own is just about to come with me on this bus because we're about to drive 5 hours to go to a preseason camp.
What?
I was like, okay, let's do it. So take all my things, get on this bus. I step into this bus. It was the most intimidating thing in my life. Everyone's sort of sitting down and everyone's like, hi, like waving. And I was like, hi.
Oh my
I
gosh.
sit down in the first seat there, and one of the girls that's sort of like across the aisle was like, oh, hi, how are you? I was like, yeah, she speaks English.
Some English.
So I was like, yeah, I'm so good. Like, I'm so excited to be here. Like, can't wait to get started. She cuts me off. She's like, no, speak English. Oh. All she knew was, hi, how are you? Don't ask. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't want
What
to
a
answer back.
Oh.
And so that was a very cool, like, silent 5-hour trip, just in my headphones, just like sweating.
Yeah, like
what
where am I? What am I doing? Yeah.
And then it's so funny because Korea is incredible. We get to wherever we were going, we're staying in a love motel. So all over South Korea, there's these love motels or hotels. And it's like a normal hotel, except it's a bit funky looking, and there's like, they give you condoms and all these other things in this like little bag at the front. And I don't know, I didn't get it, and I was so surprised. And like my Snapchat was a hit that year because I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And filming everything.
Strange.
Yeah, it was really interesting. But apparently it's very common for guys just to grab girls and take them to these love motels. And
Right.
that's where we would stay.
Oh, okay. Sounds great.
Yeah, but it was funny because only one teammate would get the bed and the other one would sleep on the floor. Koreans love to sleep on the floor.
Oh.
Strange. I did not enjoy it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I shotgun the bed every
Yes,
time.
I am not from here. Let me have the
Yeah,
bed.
they've got rooms without beds. They're just like, people just sleep in.
Wow.
You get like a little, like a real flat mattress.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, right.
I could really deep dive into Korea if you would. If you
That's
wanted
another
to.
episode, guys. So you had just met Kels before
Aw.
you moved, is that correct?
Incorrect. So
Oh, okay.
I had gone over
Wrong.
for the year.
Cancelled.
I had gone over for the year. That was probably the best year of my life. Although my cat died, my dog died, my best friend's grandpa died, and I was dating someone like before I left, and she cheated on me. But
Sounds like a fantastic year. Quick.
I had, like, football-wise, the most amazing year. I
Yeah.
met some of the most incredible people in Korea.
And Gary, that dog.
Don't.
Okay, sorry.
I was really hoping you had a photo of him. I was obsessed. I will tell you, I went for a walk in Hwachin, which was our home game. Went for a walk one day. It's beautiful. There was, like, water. There was this houseboat on the water. And I've just decided to sit and just take it in. I just hear this little dingle. And this dog just comes up from under the car. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, hi. It's just
Do you speak English?
It's like this little Shiba. And it was the happiest dog I've ever seen. And I, like, pat him. And Koreans don't enjoy patting dogs because there are a lot of stray dogs in Korea, which is crazy, and some can be quite vicious. But Gary was so nice. I'm pretty certain he lived on this houseboat. And
What
he
a
would always be
king.
there for the summer. And yeah, he would sort of venture, say hi to everyone, and then come back. And it got to the point that every home game, that's what I looked forward to. That was my little bit of home. And I'm pretty sure it
cute.
was a girl, but I named it Gary.
It's Gary. Gary the king
And
that lives on the houseboat.
I would get there, and it got to the point where he would see me coming up from the ramp, and he would sprint to me. And we just had this bond, and it was just, and like losing my dog and my cat, like having that was like really special for me. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional.
Oh my God, don't cry. There's tissues over there if you need. There's
Time
actually
since
no
I spoke
tissues.
about it. But yeah, so it was a hard year, but I was playing exceptionally well. I was leading goal scorer for the whole league, which was huge because we weren't top. Inchin have won it for like 9 years in a row, and they've got 2 Brazilian players that constantly win, you know,
just dominate.
Leading goal scorer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me to take it out that year was massive.
That's awesome.
So then I came back home and I wanted to play for Adelaide United again. I wanted to be back in my home city, play in front of like my friends and family. And Jones was coaching then, and they offered me $1,200 for the season. And I was like, I've just come back from a season in Korea, overseas. I won leading goal scorer for this whole league, and you're offering me that. You can do a little bit better. And then they came back and offered me $2,000. I took it because, you know what, I just wanted to be home. I wanted to, to play for Adelaide United again. I take a lot of pride in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, money is definitely not everything, but fuck,
It
it
helps.
could have helped all
Yeah.
these years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was very lucky because I ended up getting paid $50K USD from KSBO, plus game bonuses, plus they would pay for my food, they would pay for accommodation. Like, I, you know, was doing well then. So, you know, coming home, man, I went through my savings, but
yeah,
it helped. So, it was funny with this photo of me and Kels. I rocked up to like my first session, and like there were so many players there that I've known forever, and everyone got really excited to see me and came up and gave me big hugs. And Kelsey had no idea who the fuck I was. Like, Kelsey, how do you not know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
So she,
I'm Racheal
Quigley. Nora Pete was in the team, and she had to go to Nora like, oh, who's that? And even Nora was like, Kelsey, that's Racheal Quigley.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like something that I liked in Kels, that she was so naive and just had no idea who I was. It was kind of like fun not having an already perceived opinion of me in a way, which was really cool. And so at first, like, look, she was only 18. I'm a little bit of a cradle snatcher. I think I was like 25 or 26. And
heard worse.
And and at first, you know, I would we were just completely friendly at first. I thought she had a great smile and she was so fun. And then I would always like jokingly flirt. I was the biggest flirt. Like before, but hands down, I probably still flirt now, but I think it's just my personality. And so I would like jokingly flirt with her, like, oh, you know, I'm just waiting for Kels to break up with her boyfriend. Until one day she actually did.
Oh my God.
And shit got so real. I was like, fuck.
Oh my God.
and
That's
then,
crazy.
Yeah, and I didn't stop flirting. And it was funny because so Alex Chidiak has been one of her best friends since they were like little kids at like primary school or something. And Alex and I got really close at Melbourne City.
Oh my God. Just turned over the page. I have a photo of Racheal and Alex Chidiak.
Yeah.
I'm a mind reader.
This was like a little threesome.
Oh.
But with minus the threesomes with Chids.
That's when you guys won 10-2, right? That game?
Yeah. That was
Wild.
I'm pretty sure that was her birthday. Maybe? Or something around that. Yeah, so we would all hang out together. And I think it got to the point where I was sort of like asking Chids a few questions, and I kind of like opened up the Chids and said, like, I think I've got a bit of a crush on Kels. And Chids loved that. Chids was like one of the most supportive friends that like I've ever had, and yeah, we loved each other. It was the Chitty and Quiggy show. Like it was, I don't know. She makes me so weird.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if you'd like us.
I've never really I've met Chids, but I've never really kind of like got to know
I feel
her.
like
but
you guys would be like so awkward together, but like so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she's one of them people that you just like be weird around. Kind of like Mallory Mullen vibes.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
See, I'm
We've
right.
got a few weirdos in our team.
Yeah, we do. Anna, Mel, shout out.
I love that you said Anna because that was who I was thinking.
Yeah.
But she's like she's a really smart weirdo.
Yeah,
though.
she's a smart widow. Good luck for
we'll
exams.
Get back to them. Yeah, and so we would all hang out. Whenever I was with Chids, I was like, oh, let's get Kelson, like let's all hang out. And then we would have sleepovers. Chids would fall asleep, and me and Kels would be up for hours just talking. And it was it was really nice getting to know someone that like I had no idea about. And I loved everything that she stood for as well. Like she, you know, she doesn't really enjoy drinking and she doesn't see the whole hype around that. And yeah, there were so many things, and she wasn't, you know, when I sort of told her that I was gay, I wasn't sure how she would take it, but she was so open about it. She took it like anybody should take it, that, you know, it's not an issue at all. Like, do you? And that was kind of like alert bell. Was like, oh, she's open to this. Maybe she's gay. And yeah, I think there was one night we went out with the girls, and we all had prees at Lucy's house, and
Prees at Lucy's? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
So fun.
And I'd like gone into the room where a few of the girls were, and Kels had just gotten ready, and I looked at her and I was in awe. Like she just looked stunning. And I stood there for like 30 seconds, like looking at her like that. And Lucy was like, wow, you do like her. And then I went shy and went and did tequila.
Oh, you're like, stop.
Yeah. And I think that night I kind of blurted out to Kels that I had a few feelings for her. And I think that's when it all kind of clicked for her. And she was like, oh, Quigs isn't just my friend.
Oh.
And then it all kind of went like that. And like we've literally been inseparable since. But
beautiful.
I did go back to Korea and we did long distance for about 4 or 5 months. Because I had signed 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have to do like 3 episodes because I got so much to talk about.
You'll definitely come. You're definitely going to be reoccurring. You can help me co-host.
Yeah.
Let's jump forward to 2018 Metro. Return to SA. 15 goals in 19 matches. You finished top that year with 54 points, and Adelaide City had 53, which is tight.
That's tight.
Yeah, Adelaide
we
City.
We had a very good team.
Yeah, who?
So it was us, like all the OGs from Metro.
Stockdale, Christy Moore,
Donna, Shelley,
Ebony.
Yeah.
KB in goals.
KB was in goals. Yeah.
Scousy.
Yes.
Don't like Scouse. About to throw up over there.
Shit.
Solid, right.
Solid
yeah,
team.
good squad.
Ness in the middle.
Ness. That's who I was forgetting.
Yeah.
How can you forget Ness Reid? Come on.
No, you can't forget Ness. We love Ness.
Love Ness. You beat Metro 1-0 in the grand final at Cooper's.
I beat Metro.
Wait, sorry. Adelaide City beat Metro 1-0 in the GF. Dorber scoring the winner.
Bloody Dorber.
Ouch. Thanks, Chelsea. Ruined my day a few times, let me tell you that.
Yeah, no, we had a very good year, but I think we could have definitely done a lot better.
What, on the day or?
Just in general.
You could have dominated more.
Yeah, I think so. Like we had the squad for it.
We've hit an hour.
Shit. There was a bit of where we weren't playing at our potential, which I think killed us a little bit. And then like that final game, like we choked a little bit. For me though, I had come back from South Korea the year before, so there was a whole year I didn't play. Because I left South Korea due to severe depression and really struggled in that second year. Kels was still home and we were trying to do long distance. I just kind of lost my purpose. I felt like after the Adelaide United season, when I met Kelsey that season, I felt like I deserved at least a call up to camp for the Matildas, and I still didn't get that. So for me, it was just like, I was at my peak at that stage. I was like, why do I still not have that call up? And that really affected me and had me, like, when I was back in Korea, because I'd signed for another 2 years, really fucked with me. Like, fucked with my head entirely. And then, I'd never met anyone like Kelsey before that as well. So it was like, I've got this very, like, amazing person at home. Like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I getting out of this? If playing for the Matildas isn't my aim, or I don't see that goal anymore, then why am I still here? So there was a lot going on in my head, and so I ended up leaving, plus dodgy agent. He was
going to say contract troubles.
He was so because I was leading goal scorer, the club bumped me up another 30k, so I ended up being on 80k that year, and the agent was trying to take about 24 of that stuff, and I was just like, I earned that, like it was. And he ended up taking like 60% of another player's wage. And I was like, I had to call him out on it. And, you know, his excuse was, oh, you know, she's not used to that kind of money, so it doesn't matter. It's just like,
man.
you
But the
driving a
fact
Range
is,
Rover.
he didn't get you the job there. You got a call on WhatsApp one day. So did you really, like,
Yeah.
how much can you really, like, it's not
Yeah.
like I gave you this opportunity. It's like,
Yeah.
that's a bit odd.
It was pretty odd. But he organised my flights home and never spoke to him after that. But I know that him and the club were suing each other after that. So there was a lot of shit that had gone down,
Oh, dear.
which was no good.
Yeah, right.
And so because of that, and like I had told my Korean club that, you know, I didn't want to play professionally anymore. Like that was where I was at. That's how I was feeling. I was crying every single day and I was not performing. So I told them I just wanted to go back home and play for fun. What was
like a average day over there? So training in the morning.
Oh yeah. So you wake up at 8 o'clock, have breakfast with the team. So you're living in a dorm and you have a roommate. You go down to a cafeteria because we lived with like, I don't know, it was this secluded place that was like a 10-minute tram ride from the airport in Incheon. It was really strange. I was surrounded by water as well, so there was nowhere else to go. You pretty much stay here and our training facilities were there.
Wow.
And so you get up 8 o'clock, breakfast with the whole team. Then 10 o'clock you're out for weights and running. And then 12 o'clock lunch. Once you finish lunch, you've got a little bit of downtime, and then like 2:30, 3 o'clock, you're back out doing a field session, and the sessions go for like 2.5 hours plus.
Yeah, wow.
It's mental, and it's a lot of it is technical stuff.
That's why you're so good at the volleys at training.
Man, you get drilled, and it was a lot of the same stuff. Like I swear, each week I could have taken those sessions because I knew exactly what we were going to do. It took a while to get there, but it was very repetitive. And then, you know, sometimes we bring in different things, and it was great. Like I was the fittest I've ever been. Also because of the humidity, man, I was sweating. Like I would walk out and be drenched like I've just had a shower. So then training's at like 2:30, 3 o'clock. Once you finish up, you're showered on the bus. So because the cafeteria was only open for breakfast and lunch. You jump on the bus and you go out for dinner, and there was like 3 or 4 places we would always go to. Have dinner with the team, drive back, and then it was like every now and then, it was crazy, they would have a second dinner. Nobody would ever tell me, so I've already stuffed my face. And now, you know, I get a knock on the door and there's like big box of fried chicken, or there's like pizza, or tteokbokki, which is like a Korean dish, or like something else. And it's just like, it's crazy because they're all so thin.
Yeah, right.
They just eat so much. And you would literally do that constantly, and like you would get sometimes just if you're lucky, like one day off a week, because you would have like a Monday game or a Thursday game, and then maybe that next week you don't have one until the Thursday, or it was quite all over the place. And there was like, you got really lucky if you had 2 days off in a row. And so when that happened, it would happen like once a month. And I would go to the airport, because from the airport I could get anywhere in South Korea just from a bus or a train. And I would go and see Gemma Simon because she was playing for Suwon. And like we had so much fun. Like on those nights off, like we would explore the nightlife of South Korea, and it was incredible. Like shops are open till like midnight. It's crazy. And then the clubs are going off, and it's just like, yeah, to have someone else there, and like when I was going through all the stuff that I was going through, to have her there was incredible. So that was amazing. But, you know, coming into that second year, we had different management then. And we were threatened that we were sitting like 5th on the table, but only like 3 points from the top. But the new manager guy said, you know, if we didn't win a game, that next game, he wouldn't give us a day off for like the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
She's like, that's our life. Like there was no balance. There was no lifestyle balance. Like besides that once a month where I'd get to go out with Gemma Simon, it would just, nothing else was going on. It was hard. It was really difficult. And so then that didn't help with the depression, FaceTiming Kels every night, and, you know.
Yeah, probably added that extra because Kels was home.
I'm not blaming her for it. Definitely not. But like I said, like I didn't know why I was there anymore, which made it hard.
Okay. Yeah, right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
2019 and 2020, both NPL seasons cancelled with Berlin because COVID.
COVID.
So
COVID.
moved back to SA, joined Salisbury Inter, who Trace Westie's coach now,
Yes.
was there.
Yes.
Who was in that team?
Kote, M. Condon, Tassie, Mallory Mullen.
Mallory Mullen.
My
What a
fave.
gal.
What a fucking gal.
Mina was there? No, she was still at
no,
West then?
Yeah.
2020 she
What
would
am I
have been.
saying? She was there.
There she was,
Yeah.
yeah.
that was her first season with us, and we still
Okay.
had. I think we had Chrissa as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she
and we had
would've moved
Macca
there.
in goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First final game versus us. Wait, hang on a minute. Yeah, first game versus West Adelaide, but then I've got Kiriakou scored early. Maybe I'm still thinking you're at Metro. That's funny. Len Saroulis got sent off straight red, or it could have been 2 yellows.
Was that the game before?
Oh no, I'm talking about what happened to the lead up. That's right. So, this was when Metro played us and won against us. Then Metro beat Inter, you guys, in the prelim.
Yeah.
And then they beat City in the grand final.
Crazy.
They finished
And,
fourth and won everything.
I had so much respect for Metro that year
Yeah.
because a few games before that we ended up beating them like 6-2 or something. And we had 10 men at one point because we got a red card.
Well, they finished fourth for quite like a big gap.
So it was crazy.
I
And
think they just made finals, yeah.
Maybe it was that, we were too cocky. Maybe we were just like, oh, this will be easy because we just beat them.
Yeah.
And then they just threw everything at us. And
then that
so
season
much
done.
respect for them.
Yeah.
100%. They've got the experience for sure.
Yeah.
They were a great side. They always had been for so many years. And now they're going through their rebuilding stage.
Yeah, right.
With still just a couple of those key players. So, Salisbury was good. Like it was a good season. For me, it was hard because like that year before I had done. No, it was that year I had done pre-season with Bulleen, and the year before that I had played the season with Bulleen. I think we got to finals and lost in the grand final. And I got to play with Katie Friend, who's one of my best friends, and she ended up being my coach just last year. So ended up, and that was my last season playing with Kels as well, which was crazy because she retired very early. Man, one stint with United and she's done.
Hey, she got there.
Yeah.
What a legend.
So then it was, that season I did pre-season with Bulleen. And then right before that big lockdown in Melbourne, Kels and I were like, what do we do? Are we just going to ride this out because they said it was only going to be 6 weeks? Or like, are these numbers getting big? Do we just go home for a little while? And we still had to pay rent. We were paying like $450 a week for a South Melbourne small apartment. And so we decided to up and go. Not the drink. This is not sponsored by Up and Go.
Hey, now
Up
I feel
and
like
Go
one.
if you're listening. But and then so I ended up losing my job because we just jumped in the car, packed it, and went back to Adelaide. Ended up staying in Adelaide for 6-7 months. We stayed for Christmas, New Year's because that lockdown was just so huge.
Yeah.
And so just kept paying the rent off.
Then back to Bulleen.
Yeah. So I had that season with Salisbury, and then the next year we've gone back to Bulleen again. Jumped into pre-season. This time Katie Friend was my coach, and I have never grown more than that year with Katie as my coach. So to have a teammate who's she's going to go very far with her coaching. She's already assistant coach for Victory, and she's been coaching for maybe 4 or 5 years. She started from juniors, gone up to 16s, and she had reserves the year before, and now she's still coaching the NPL Bulleen team. So went into it. We actually played a few games. We got beat first round against South, but then after that we had a very strong team, and it was good, and I was really enjoying my football again. And like just being at Bulleen, I love the late Monday night game. It's strange, but it's a weird time slot, but people love it at the Venator Club. And then we ended up going into lockdown again in the middle of the year, and I was working in a coffee shop in Melbourne, and then we decided just to play it out. We didn't bother trying to come back home because Kelsey had just that one more year of study, and our plan was sort of to always move back home. We actually have said, you know, if COVID hadn't happened and made it so difficult, we probably would have stayed for another year, just with like photography opportunities for Kels and coaching opportunities for me with Katie. She runs elite female football in Melbourne, and that's something that I think I want to bring here. And so, yeah, it would have been amazing to have been there to sort of like go over everything with her. And, you know, long term is still something I want to do. It's just taking a little bit longer. But yeah, but in that time, you know, we're in a lockdown. We've only got 5 Ks to work with, and I was still able to work a little bit. So I was working just a small amount because my boss was still losing money as well. Within our 5 Ks, we had the beach, we had Albert Lake Park, we had Botanical Gardens, we had all these beautiful places to run. And people know me and know my career. I did not enjoy running in the slightest. I'm a striker. Doesn't mean that, you know, you don't run as a striker, but, you know, throughout my career, I wish that I had broken this barrier so much sooner, because the thought of running has, for me, always been a bad thing. Like, it's always been like a punishment or something like that, you know, when you're in trouble, they're like, oh, go do laps. Yeah. Like, it's been portrayed as something bad. And so I've hated it because, you know, it is hard. Whereas this time in Melbourne, and like Kelsey's she's a natural runner. I hate it. I wish I had that. If I had that in my game, I feel like I could have had an incredible career. I did have an incredible career, but
the past hour 15, what have we been talking about?
Well, I just think
I know what you mean.
Could have been next level. And so in that time, I did a lot of growing, and Katie was a big part in that help. You know, whenever we did running with the team, she didn't care if I wasn't at the front of the pack. She cared that I was doing it. And that for me was huge, because I'm a Capricorn. I've always just wanted to be the best at everything I'm doing. I still do, but I have to be realistic as well. You know, we had like Leah Privatelli was in that team. There's no way I'm going to beat her in sprints. But the fact that I was doing it was huge, and I got so fit in that preseason. It sucked that we didn't get to play out that season. And I started, you know, I just started going out running, because you're in lockdown. What else are you going to do? We were meant to just stay in. We could only go out for like 2 hours a day, but man, when the sun's out, we were out all day. We're avoiding people.
No cops this thing, I hope.
Fuck Tracy.
Tracy, turn it off.
And so, oh no, Shiv's a cop too.
Oh, Shiv, turn it off. They're everywhere. Nick, oh God, it's endless. Chantel Ryder, are you listening?
Shit. Yeah, and so it was funny. It was a big mental thing. I would literally put the word leisurely in front of run, and I loved it. Yeah. Kels, let's go. We're going to go for a leisurely run. And I ended up running like my first 10K just like straight, and I've never been prouder of myself. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it took a lot for me to be proud of myself and to do that. And like, I didn't care what pace I did. I was just so proud that I did it. And so I really broke that, and I started running like almost every day. And like, at this point, I'm feeling so good. Like, there's something that you get from running that just makes you feel good. And like that with Sunshine, I quit drinking. Should we get George in real quick? Yeah. Talk about running. I quit caffeine. So I quit drinking coffee, and within a week my anxiety had disappeared. I've always struggled with anxiety, but I've also drank coffee. And so both Kels and I had made that switch, and like, I can't tell you how much that helped. But all of this, like, all happening together, I felt incredible. I was on the phone to Stents, like, Stents, I'm feeling great. I'm running 10Ks, like, get me over. We don't know if you're going to get into the States, so ouch. Yeah, nah, and it was so fun. I was confident then, but really without playing a season, there was no way I would have been able to jump into it. And you know, I did make the decision, I think it was about 3 years ago, because I had constantly kept going out to W League because I felt like it was, you know, something I still wanted to do. And breaking out of that identity was very hard. And I made the call to retire from W League. And I think I was 28 when I did that, because at that 26. Age, I was 26. Oh, 26 was my last season. Yeah.
But 28 you didn't announce.
But then,
which is crazy because I'm 26 now, and I feel like I'm at my peak.
Yeah,
maybe.
no, 100%.
People are. I feel like
I was at my peak at 26.
Yeah.
100%. That was when I was in Korea.
Yeah, Pappy said that as well. She was like 25, 26. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and 100%. I was like 24 then. I was like, the best is yet to come.
And you're playing amazing this year, by the way.
Thanks.
Incredibly.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah. So it was difficult to make that decision because it was still something that I wanted to do, and I held myself back because I was like, oh fuck, 28, I'm getting old. Like all the players that I played Young Matildas with were either, Sam Kerr, Bree Davey, they're all playing like these at highest level possible, and then everybody else that didn't quite make it had already pulled off and they're living their life doing something else that's actually making them money. So that was my biggest barrier because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have anything else apart from that. So I made that decision, and now that I've got a pathway here, I feel like I'm playing some of the best football that I have in a long time as well. So it's just like, maybe W League isn't that far away for me. I'm only 31. I don't want to say, I'm old because I joke about it, but I don't feel it. I feel like I'm still running around like a 24-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, look at Christy Moore.
Exactly.
Like,
man,
absolute animal.
Ripped,
I'm going to get
man.
her in here.
I got hips and boobs. that stuff's hard to run around with.
The whole age thing I think it's a bit of a
it's a cop-out.
Yeah. Oh, like you're 30 now sort of thing. But that should actually be your peak.
100%.
Or like 28, high 20s, early 30s. Yeah, for men, I think it's like 32 or something is supposed to be. Yeah, it's crazy.
So that was quite difficult. But so last year in Melbourne, broke a lot of barriers. Mentally, it became so much stronger. I started doing cold swims in the morning as well, which was amazing. And then so coming back home, there was a big emphasis on what I would do outside of soccer. And I was almost going to stop playing. I kind of said, if I'm going to do this barber course, it costs $13,000. That's a lot of money. And I pretty much, if I do it full time, that's Monday to Saturday, full time hours. I'm technically working 40 plus hours and not getting paid a cent. But it's for a short time frame. So I finish up in August anyway. But, that only leaves me Sunday and then nights to be able to work. So, going into a club, and I had been contacted by quite a few. Like I spoke to Vista, I spoke to Salisbury again, I spoke to a few clubs. And, I couldn't just, I had to unfortunately put it out there that I needed help financially. I needed help somehow. And so, speaking to Westies, they wanted to help me outside of football with however they could. And it wasn't, they didn't throw all this money at me. They have supported me in other ways. And, it's been tough because I'm working so much and still trying to play soccer and still trying to actually make money. But I'm still playing really well. It hasn't affected me too much. And the team is incredible that we've got. It's probably the best team I've played with in SA, and I haven't enjoyed football like this in a long time. Yeah,
it's just, sounds really cliche, but just I can't even express it enough how good it actually is being at Westies. It's the people, we're all training, we just want to be there, and it's I don't know, it's just we all just you want to see them, you look forward to seeing people, and Tracy's obviously great as well.
Yeah. It's a different Tracy to what we had in Salisbury. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think, she had a lot going on in Salisbury, and that I was quite hesitant because it was a difficult year. But, I've known Tracy for a very long time. I know she's definitely not a bad person in the slightest. And then to come into this season and, she loves it so much.
Oh, the passion from everyone,
And every training session, she's smiling for some reason. Yeah. And you can just tell that she's really enjoying it. And I think it's very big on it comes down each level. And I think Nick was a great pull-in for us as well. I think both Nick and Tracy really worked well together. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's this culture. It's this culture, and this is what pulled me in as well. Speaking in the Zoom meeting that I had with Westies, the first thing they spoke about was culture, and that was something that I had at Bulleen. And Bulleen have this culture. They'll always be a powerhouse club. And I do believe that Westies have this culture this year that is unbeatable right now. And I think we're all feeling like that. We're all feeling like really good. And, you know, we genuinely like playing with each other. We have incredible depth. I think the best in the state by far. You can have any player unavailable and you'll be able to throw someone in and they can do just as well.
Yeah, which I think a lot of teams are struggling, obviously, with COVID and stuff this year. And
100%.
to have outs, I mean, you see some teams will suffer a little bit more if they're missing that 1 or 2 players. But, yeah, for the first time, I've been at West for 7 years and hasn't always been like this. It's more, you know, oh, they got injured, you know, crap, what do we do? And now and because everyone is so committed and there's no one, you know, someone, you know, Harry Burnett, sorry, you're going to have to sit on the bench, or Mallory Mullen sitting on the bench, like someone player. She could play in any other team, and like there's no sulking, there's you know what, that's what I need to do for this week or whatever it might be. And I just think it like speaks volumes of
100%
what it's all about, and they just want to be a part of it. And
and they're happy for each other. Like I feel like we're genuinely
still yelling
happy
from
for each
the
other.
Still yelling from the bench, like people
100%.
in that position. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came, Rach. That coffee day was all in my plan.
It was actually, it was genuinely you. I had not even thought about playing for Westies.
Me, I didn't even I'm not like, okay, I'm going to catch up with Quigs and I'm going to
poach.
Gonna rope her in, gonna get her. And then it just like, you're like, oh
no.
And then I was like on the phone to Tracy.
We've got her.
Ring her. Ring. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
1 hour 24. If you are still listening, thank you so much. I feel like we need to say something. Like only the people that listen this far get like a free haircut by Quigs, $10 haircut.
I'll pay. If you're listening and you've got short hair and hair's not too difficult and you don't mind some student cut, then come on over to Churchill Road.
They're gonna talk like that the whole time. Oh my goodness. I've got some. Yeah. So back to your retirement. 78 league appearances.
Yeah.
Including all of the clubs.
Yeah.
Adelaide, Melbourne City, victory.
I'm not far off the 100 mark.
Yeah.
And no Adelaide player's done it yet.
Yeah,
and
you
that's
should.
Like, to be honest, that's a big pull.
Yeah.
To leave that sort of legacy, to leave something behind. And I'm still equal leading goal scorer with Chelsea Dorber right now. So
yeah. On 18.
Who knows?
18.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath. I just want to keep playing. I don't want to put pressure on it, and I just want to keep playing and enjoy it. And if Stents, if you're listening, if you see, if I fit into the team, amazing.
Yeah.
If I don't, then you know what? That's not the end of the world either. I'm just kind of going with it right now, which is so fun because I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, that's nice.
I have a Isn't That Wild segment.
Ooh.
Where I'll tell you something really random.
Yeah, I love it.
And
all right.
I just Googled it 5 minutes before you got here. But eels have 2 jaws.
They have 2 jaws?
Yep. One is hidden in their throat and it pulls down like the prey.
I didn't even know they had a mouth.
2 jaws. Isn't that wild?
That's wild.
That is so wild. And with everyone, we take a Polaroid of you and it goes up on our board.
Oh, I love that.
Our Hall of Fame Kick Like a Girl board. And before you go, we have to talk through your Quigley's WMPL Dream Team.
Oh,
so...
Oh, Jesus.
Should have got a whiteboard.
Yeah,
maybe for the next person I'll get a whiteboard. You can keep them photos, by the way.
Thank you. That's so beautiful.
Your gift.
I love that.
So, goalkeeper. Only, obviously, SA.
Present, past players?
Anybody.
Or just now?
Anyone.
I've got to say Macca. Annie's obviously one of the best players in the world right now, in Australia especially. But Macca for me has always been outstanding. I played so many years with her, so 100%. Yeah,
awesome.
Macca.
Right back.
Em Hodgson.
Em Hodgson.
I think she's
on
killing
fire.
it. Yeah, she's absolutely killing
Little
it.
pocket rocket.
Yeah.
All right, centre back on the right.
Okay, let's think about this. Centre back. We have so many right now.
I know.
Over the years, you know who I've always loved, and I think it's because I've played with her for a long time, is Ebony, who used to be Wiedenbach, is now
Kiriaki.
Yes. She's always been one of my favourite players. I think she reads the play really well.
Oh yeah.
Now she's had a
Absolute
little baby,
nightmare
but
to
she's
play
still
on.
playing as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
love that.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my
Oh,
favourite
Ebbs.
defenders. Yeah.
Nice. Next to Ebbs.
On the left centre back. You know who? Shorty. Do you ever
Renee?
know Renee Harrison? Yeah.
Do you know what? I have like a signed United shirt from her.
Oh, no way.
From when
Yeah.
I was little and I won like a juggling contest or
Oh my
something.
God.
I don't know. I never met her though. I don't know who it is.
I'm trying not to be biased with Westies
Yeah,
players, by the way. Obviously, Westies, I would always choose you, but I'm trying to not be too biased. But yeah, Shorty, psychopath. Like, psychopath, defender, person, player, but like, loved it. She put her body on the line every time. I don't know how many ambulance would have to come and pick her up.
Oh my God.
But she was a great player.
Love that. Left back.
It's an interesting one because, like, I love Laura in like 4 different positions.
Yes, LJ.
Yeah.
So versatile.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm like trying to think, like,
it's kind of annoying a little bit. 'Cause I'm like, why are you doing so good there? And then now you're in 10 and you're kind of killing it, and now you're on the wing. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think because I'm trying to think of like left footers, but I think, I think LJ kind of takes it for me.
Okay, number 6.
Number 6. I love Ness Reid.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Ness Reid in the prime.
Yeah, 100%. Like, intelligent player,
Yeah.
very smart.
Can knock the long diagonals,
aggressive.
hard.
The only things like
Bad
yellow
white
and
line
red
fever.
cards. She's got a mouth on her, but I love
but
it.
Passion.
Passion, exactly. She's
You
like Lisa
can't-
Devanna.
Yeah.
No one's ever hated Lisa. Well,
Oh.
no.
Nah.
No, I don't know.
All right, Ness Reid, number 6. 10 or
Wait,
8.
8.
Sorry, 8. Jumping the gun here.
I need to. Can I say Madonna?
Is that Maddie Drew and Anna Pritchard?
Together? Like, you can't. You almost
You
just can't
can.
have one or the other. So I'm calling it Madonna.
Oh, okay.
We're
But
calling
I'm not letting that
Madonna
slide
now.
again for future guests. FYI, one name per spot. 10. Madonna, my God.
Like,
I thought you were going to say Madonna, and I was like, are you saying about Devanna? Because she did definitely not play.
Oh.
Devanna would have been the perfect blend of them 2 words. Or Daru and Anna.
Yeah.
Sorry, play on.
That's so
10.
10. Adelaide Gow, Alex Chidiac. I think her
what a
and
beast.
I have just like, we've just always been able to combine in the past. It's the Chitty and Quiggy show. And I love
Chitty
it.
and Quiggy show.
Yeah.
Right wing.
Man, I'm trying to think.
Need like a wall
I know,
of
I
all
need
the
like
past
every
players.
player. Like, because I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like,
hard.
Who has been?
Yeah, who plays winger that's in this
I don't know,
room?
like Macri Spear. I know, but you love to play on the left, don't you?
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to say me, by the way. Macri has been like a
pinnacle of SA soccer.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I like.
she's played 200 plus games. The amount of
Macri
goals.
Or Donna Cocaine. Like Donna
Oh,
Cocaine.
yes,
She
yes.
was in the very first W League team.
Yeah,
with me
yeah.
As well. So
Good matchup.
was she? Yeah, she was in the first. So I think either one of those, especially in SA, they've really, really stuck around as well. I feel bad for like anyone that I've like missed.
You'll
over
probably
this time.
be driving home and be like, oh my God.
I'm gonna
Or
have
you-
so many enemies. That's
They'll
if
be
they make it this
messaging you.
far
Yeah,
anyway.
they're probably gone to bed. It's like
if you've
8
made
o'clock.
it this far and I haven't said you, I am so fucking sorry.
Number 9. Are you going to put yourself in there?
Nah.
Oh.
I mean, I love myself. 100%.
Yeah, you just spoken about yourself for 90 minutes. Come on.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Like, I love myself. I'd love to be part of that team. 100%.
Oh.
Man, if I was playing this
We
team,
should
killer.
bring it back.
Yeah.
Oh my
All
gosh.
stars versus legends. No, Di Bartolo has always been around. I think she's always been a very strong striker. Like, she's the
Number 9?
pinnacle of Adelaide City.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. There's no arguments there.
Yeah.
I don't see her as a flat 9 though.
No, you don't?
Nah,
Well, yeah.
she's a wide player for me. But
Interesting.
then you think of Dorba too, who's
Yeah, that's true.
I see her
Yeah.
as more of a middle
Yeah.
sort of striker,
I think
but
'cause
not my 11.
Danny's just been around for so long, and I think, City have been super successful with her
Oh,
around
yeah.
constantly.
Oh, arguably.
And for, I don't want to bring up her height, but for her height, she's incredible.
Always winning headers in the box.
Yeah, who
Man,
does that at
what?
that height?
Someone just stand on her. Like, how is she doing
100%.
that? Like, leaping into the air.
Yeah, so I think, because I'm trying to think who else is there. I think Chris Panagaris has still got a lot of potential.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Big
think
dog.
I think she could become something like really great. I know that she got stuck with like injuries, which has kind of killed her a bit. So, no, I think she's also been really great. Yes. And over to the left wing. I'm not going to choose you because you're
Get out my house. Anyone who doesn't pick me, okay, not releasing the episode. Bye.
Shit.
Get out.
No, I'm trying to think, like, who even
Absolutely
else?
no pressure.
Who
I see
else
Danny
is
on
a
the
left
left.
back? Hey?
Daniela.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and look, that definitely
I
makes
don't really
sense.
know.
I wanted to
All the left wingers listening right now probably am I not pretty enough?
Alicia Nicholas is also one of my favourite players, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
left-footed.
Left back.
But yeah, so maybe I chuck
Gone.
Laura up on the left wing,
Oh.
chuck
So,
Alicia back on the left back.
so now
Who
you're
else is
replacing me
there?
with Laura.
Christy
Okay.
Moore's incredible as well.
Oh, yeah.
I
And
actually enjoyed
Stockdale?
having her on. Yeah, Stockdale's
Okay.
more of a midfielder.
This is a first 11, not a first 600.
I can't do it. I'll quit. This is too hard. I don't want to be a coach.
Oh, gosh. Poor Tracy.
Oh,
Poor Tracy.
unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well,
So, hour and a half.
thank you so much for, popping the cherry of my podcast.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yes.
Sorry, Georgie Porgy.
Oh, no problem. He's not coming on here. I've already told him.
He's not a female.
Yeah,
He doesn't
females
kick
only.
like a girl.
Actually, no, that's false. I have some exciting guests in my brain. Not going to share. You have to wait. Stay tuned on my Instagram, Kick Like a Girl podcast. Wow. All right, we should wrap this up. We're getting a bit crazy.
Yeah,
All right.
delirious.
Thank you so much, Quigs.
Thank you for having me. This
Thank
is great.
you
I'll be back for part
for-
2 very soon.
Oh, yes, we could talk forever, clearly. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a great day.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.